G'day guys, and welcome to Team Down TV's coverage of the Cyber Game and League of Legends Pro Division, brought to you by our sponsors M-Wave, AMD, BenQ, Western Digital, Sound Blaster, and G-Skill. Tonight we have a rematch of the ACL Melbourne Grand Final, the new Team Immunity, that's with all the new members, taken on NV, previously known as the Wobbly Bears, and there's a few lineup changes in there as well. Now, before we do kick off on this game, we're going to have a bit of a pre-interview here with the ADC for Team Immunity, Raydere, and joining me tonight as well is Go Gadget.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Menace, and of course a warm welcome to Raydere. Thanks for joining us, mate. And I think we might even dive straight into to a few questions. Let's start off with you and the team's experience at Gamescom. So, what was you or the team or Immunity's most memorable experience from Gamescom?
In terms of gameplay, it was probably winning the first two games in great form and succession. In terms of outside the game, it would probably be drinking beers every night, so it wasn't exactly one experience, but yeah, it was a great experience overall.
Sounds good. That sounds fantastic. But okay, so moving on a little bit, after Gamescom, of course, I think most people know about the roster changes that you guys have made in Immunity. But for those who don't, would you just be able to run through the roster swaps and maybe a little bit of rationale behind it?
Oh, sure. So Heavens was replaced by Swiffer, and Alicia was replaced by Spooks in the jungle, and Heavens was mid, obviously. The rationale behind it was basically one of our mid laner actually decided to part ways, whilst our jungler also decided to do the same. But the rationale behind it was basically playing internationally showed us quite a lot of flaws that we had, and I think the new roster change was definitely fix those flaws and hopefully build for a better future. Nice.
That sounds good. So that's exactly like that. It sounded good, but I'm wondering, and I think a few members of the community were also asking in chat about it as well. Alicia, or Domo as he was, or is known to some people, he was always the sort of spokesman of Immunity's LoL team. He was the one that got onto Twitter, generally kept everyone updated, and also, of course, was I believe the caller for you guys in game. So, who's going to be the one that I suppose keeps everyone up to date with Immunity's progress via the various social media outlets, and who have you got to replace Alicia in the shot calling aspect in game?
In the shot calling aspect, it wasn't just Domo, it was Domo, me, or Alicia, me, and also Rosie. And it was more the whole team, although Alicia did make a lot of final calls, so for neutral camps, for neutral buffs, that sort of thing. In terms of keeping up to date with news, our manager, Isotope, will definitely be keeping everyone up to date. You can also follow us on our Facebook page, and I believe our mid laner will also make a Twitter page soon as well.
Cool, that sounds good. So moving on to a question which I think a lot of people, again, are wondering now. I think we saw some, comments in chat and around the place about it as well. What do you think, personally, as I think it's pretty uncontested, you as the best AD carrier in the Oceanic League of Legends region, what do you think needs to happen for Oceanic LoL to become more professional to the point where, players can actually start making, a job, a living out of this?
I think right now, the Oceanic server is still quite young. So at the present moment, what we need first is time. So as we saw, the Brazilian server opened a while ago, a very long time from us ago, but they've actually grown into a huge community and actually have a lot of backings. Even Payne's support player has around a large amount of likes, 50k likes on his Facebook page, and I think in time we will see this scene grow rapidly, and also I think with Riot's presence here and the increase in the prize money, we'll also definitely see an increase in professionalism and level of gameplay.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds good. And I think while we may even take one, maybe even last question from the chat, and it's a pretty broad question coming there from Dynamic Kebrin. What's the major goal for IM at this point?
Our major goal would really be to build up a strong team. So we did just make two major roster changes, which is mid and jungle, and that obviously, you're looking at the map geographically, is the center of the team. And
Yep.
with WCG coming up in December, I believe that's our aim. So after not being able to win Gamescom, I think our focus is onto the next international event, which is WCG. And these roster changes were intended to make us as strong as possible for that event. So that will be our goal.
Cool. Alrighty, that sounds good. So I might pass it to our streamer here, Cyanide. Yeah, go ahead, Cyanide.
I just want to ask. I know. I think I watched as well as most of the OCE LOL community here in Australia, all your games over in Germany. And your first two, absolutely sensational. You came out the gates, you went very, very hard. And what happened, what was the mood after that? You went down to Pain, you went down to Gaming Gear. Obviously, Pain were probably the favourites until Gaming Gear somehow came back and beat them and took it. But what was the mood after those first two games? You would have been confident, but then you started not playing so well.
Well, after the first two games, we were in a very good mood. But after the Pain game, I believe the Pain game was more of a one-off kind of. We kind of got lost during the game and didn't know what we were doing. And I believe that we could call that a one-off kind of loss, which happens to everyone. Which we'll just call playing bad. But the worst thing was after the loss, we caused a lot of dissent during the team, which apparently we didn't recover from it quite as well as we could have. So judging by our performance against GGU in the fourth game and then in the semis, so I think it just caused a lot of dissent within the team, and we didn't recover from it as we should have, and which also led to really poor performance by us.
Absolutely, and I think something which the OCE community needs to remember as well, and I certainly did my bit for you guys to remind people, is that these other communities have had a server for longer than 2 months. We've had an OCE community for 2 months. We did see for the Season 3 championships a lot of teams come out. What was it, 860 something teams come out, and there was a lot more talent. We did see Hot Soggy Decimate, which you guys obviously played the grand final, but there hasn't been a big chance for you guys to play against a lot of high quality teams. And being a new OCE server, I guess the community also needs to remember, don't they, that you guys need a bit of time, the community needs a bit of time to grow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think sorry, what was the question again? I just got distracted with some chat.
I was just making note that the community does need to realise that the OCE server is new, and Immunity, while you guys have been up there as far as the best team in well, definitely Australia and proven in OCE, people need to remember that the OCE community is young and new compared to a lot of those other communities you did go and play when you went over to Germany. So everyone needs a bit of time and not put too much pressure on you guys. So I just wanted to put that out there. Menace, did you have any questions you wanted to ask?
No, I think we about covered everything I want to hear, at least anyway for now.
Yeah, and once again, Raydere, thank you very much for joining us. It's great, and I think the community very much appreciates it as well when the top players that have just been around the world come to join us here at Team Down TV, and really give us a bit of an insight into the goings on of the team. So thank you very much for that. But now I do believe we will be cutting off to a short break, and we'll let you guys get back to the game.
Yeah, make sure you stick around, guys. This is going to be a pretty good match. This is the best of three, the Cyber Gamer Pro League between Team Immunity and MV. So stick around, and we'll be right back once the game has started.